Night of Kupala was once celebrated during midsummer when the sun shone brightest. The tradition continued even when the dark veil shielded the skies. But it was during those dark days that Kupala Night became a beacon of desperate hope and a night for calling upon the gods to return to Thea. The seasons have changed after the darkness ravaged the world, but it is time for the first Kupala Night since the sun's return. The Kupala Night was once celebrated only once per year, when the sun's power was closest to Thea. But during the darkness, the special night was celebrated as soon as the mystical signs were read by the village elders. As to what those signs entail, every wise one seems to have a slightly different story. There are several ways in which the solstice can be celebrated. During the long night of darkness, there was no way for the elders to tell when the solstice was coming, and within a few decades, the sacred night of Kupala was all but abandoned. But then, some old mystics read the solar signs, brief moments where the power of sunlight or the force of the moon and stars shone through the dark veil with particular strength. Since then, Kupala Night can be celebrated more than once in a year, but always when a great solar event is anticipated by the mystics. The Kupala Night is a night of many guises. It is the night that celebrates the rival bond of the sun and the moon. It is the night that sings to the power of life-giving water and the thundering fires, both with their power to cleanse the earth. The night where life and death are revered, and where love and its promise for the future are held up and cherished. It is a night to honor all gods and to cast away the darkness. There are several ways to celebrate the Kupala Night and to prove yourselves. Some may take more time, some may be risky, but doing nothing is not an option. The Night of Kupala has many faces and traditions that need to be upheld. Bonfires are lit with sticks and stones and placed on hillsides or other high places around the settlement. Offerings of food and animal stock are made in honor of the many gods. Music, dance and laughter accompany the night's rituals, but the main event is chosen by the village elders with each solstice. There are several ways to celebrate the night and prove yourselves. Some may take more time, some may be risky, but doing nothing is not an option. On this night of Kupala, you chose to burn the bonfires high and hotter than ever in order to test your youth and prove your worth. In pairs, chosen by the bonds of love and fellowship, 2 youths will jump through the fires, holding a carved figurine of the sun god in their hands. If they emerge unharmed with the figurine intact, their bond will prove true and their strength will be rewarded. If, however, the figurine should burn or the pair be hurt by the flames, their bond is untrue, and so their false trial an affront to the gods. As the children of Svarog, this trial is the only true way to honor your solar father. Pairs of brave friends or lovers face the flames as they jump through the bonfires. The fire's heavenly power cleanses your people from any curse or poison, and those who faced the challenge feel their skills rising. Svarog also sends you a vision of a group of fire demons, and you feel that you should try and find them. Thea is not an easy place to grow up in, but alas, grow up we must. One of your children has matured into a young adult and is ready to join your village and rebuild Thea. Becoming an adult is an important rite of passage. The whole village celebrates this joyous occasion. The youngster places a food offering at the altars of their gods, in thanks and in hopes for a good future. The ghost of a hanged man is seen in your village, haunting your people's dreams. He is seen coming always from the same direction and returning there after several hours of haunting. Your people awake uneasy every night, and some become cursed. Your scouts soon mark a possible location of the ghost's home. Well done. You have your very first buildings. As you can see, it takes... You come across a hidden stash, and it looks like whatever is... You have your loot safe in hand, but you can hear something approaching fast, perhaps a guardian of the stash. You have time to run, but maybe the creature... You stand your... Turns out these were simply some boars defending their turf, or searching for prey. Still, you search their remains, hoping to gather some extra... The sun shines strongly this day, and people rejoice, basking in its warmth. At noon, when the rays burn the ground the hottest, a single ray of sunshine lights up a nearby field. From within the sun's light, you can make out the figure of Svarog. He thrusts his hammer down upon the earth, and the sunlight blinds you all. When you regain composure, you realize the sun god has left one single image of an old ruined building shrouded by unnatural darkness. You find the ruins of what must have been a small settlement, but it looks abandoned for at least a decade. You see the hanged man floating aimlessly, wailing at the sky. The souls of those who died of hanging, especially self-inflicted, are known to become damned like this. but there could be a way to help. You look around the abandoned settlement, and you find several skeletons of people with their heads severed, as well as many funeral pyres that look very makeshift and rushed. At the center of the village, you discover an oak tree, with the hanged man's skeletal body still swinging from a branch. As you search the body, the ghost appears again, but this time without the noose around its neck. Instead, you see a well-built, middle-aged man in a wide-brimmed hat with a large book and a crossbow at his side. The ghost seems much more coherent now as it speaks to you. So you have come. Good. It was not me. Well, not strictly. I can only hold this form for a short time. Soon I will revert back to the anguished deformity that is the hanged man. Driven by instinct alone, I will seek out life and haunt it, desperately trying to seek aid. Many would have slain my spirit by now. My thanks to your patience. Indeed, it is somewhat redundant for you. I have no true answer for what happens to us, except that we come back with less and less of ourselves left. Every time we are slain, we lose a part of our souls, until there is nothing but an angry shell left. If you find a way to release my spirit, well, before the darkness, my soul would have traveled through the roots of the cosmic tree into the underworld, where it could rest in peace. Now, well, at least I won't be an angry spirit tormenting people, I think. I am afraid I do not know for sure how to lift your curse. I am fading again, and soon will become the hanged man again. So I will tell you this. Read my diary and find a way to rest my spirit. Or find another way to banish me from this fate. If you do, I promise to try and lift the curse. It looked like he wanted to say more, but his ghostly body dissolved and changed back into the hanged man. Inside the man's coat pocket, you find a note, or rather what looks like a page torn out of a diary. The curse of the Striga takes hold quickly. Within days I saw signs of these good people falling to the darkness. Only I knew what had to be done, and gods helped my soul for it. I had no other recourse but to kill those who were taken and those who stubbornly stood in my way. I had hoped to finish the job and return to you, my daughter. But alas, I can feel the curse upon my soul. I can hear the voice of my soon-to-be mistress calling me at night, and every night the voice becomes sweeter. Soon I will not have the will to resist, so I must act now, even knowing my soul will be damned among the wretched. If you shall ever find this place, I needed you to know my true fate. As you examine the rope, you see it was weaved with silver, and on the ground you see a pentagram drawn with rock salt and poppy seeds, or at least that's what they could have been. All known repellent for the dark magic and the creatures of the night. The hanged man appears next to you and points to a map attached to the page. You see several settlements marked and one signed Home. You remembered a book and a crossbow on the ghost, and so you search for it near the body. You discover both objects buried under a pile of stones. found the town marked on the Hanged Man's map, but it was optimistic to think some settlement was still alive so close to your village. There are the ruins of a town, but most of all, there is a large graveyard. You see the Hanged Man ghost appear and look at the gravestones, but it shakes its head at you. She is not here, but I do feel her presence in the area. Can you please help me some more and search for her? You discover a hidden entrance to a household dug deep into the ground, like the houses of the half-men from far in the Westerlands. Inside you find the abode with many rooms, furnished with beautifully carved furniture and filled with all sorts of bric-a-brac. The stuff is scattered around the place, broken and clearly in disarray. You hear a cry from one of the rooms. You discover another room and find a place of a horrid crime. There are several bodies lying around, and among them an old lady, crying while she cradles a young man's corpse in her arms. She turns to you, her eyes devoid of any hope.
Too late, too late. Everything of value is taken, and if it's blood you seek, there is only me left. Oh, I see. In that case, perhaps you can help. It is too late for me. I will die here with my son, but some of our boys and girls were taken by the robbers as slaves. Please try to rescue them. I heard where they went. I can show you on a map.
The old lady seems to ignore the ghost, and the Hanged Man shakes his... You track down the slavers just as the old lady told you. You see that it is a group of well-armed men and women, but it seems there are not too many of them. It is hard to tell anything more from the distance, but you do see several females kept in cages, and your ghost friend appears next to them, nodding his head in confirmation that it is his daughter. Your scouts sneak in closer and see that there is only a small group of guards left with the slaves. From their conversation, it is clear the rest have gone off somewhere and won't be back soon. You can devise a tactical plan to steal away the slaves, but from the look of the cages, they are rigged with traps, so it is likely some slaves will be hurt in the rescue effort. Or you can attack the slavers, but then you risk your people's health. You distract the guards and sneak into the camp to rescue the slaves. As you suspected, the cages are rigged, and to your horror, many people are stricken down before you can rescue them. You do find an older woman, a witch, who proves to be the Hanged Man's daughter. The Hanged Man ghost removes any curses your people had in thanks. You also find several children still alive, but a few people will need medical attention to have any chance of survival. You tried to save some more people, but they were too far gone. Your efforts, however, taught some of your people more about As you make your way through the terrain, your herbalist spots an area where your party sneaks. After a tough fight, you finally clear the area of those nasty spiders. Within their lair, you discover